Welcome to practice. I'm Casey and this is May, and today we are going to be doing another video in our Yinneagram series that is Yin Yoga for the Enneagram. Today is Type 8, the Challenger or the Dragon. I am still having continued modifications because of my hand. So because of this, I actually asked my husband if he would join me for practice today, as there were just some postures that I knew I really couldn't get into and some transitions that was going to be really difficult for me or hurt me. And he agreed to help me do practice today. So in addition to being the mastermind behind editing my videos as well as messing with all of the audio, he is starring in my video today. So kind of keep an eye a little bit more on him than me, because he's doing the postures the way that they're generally intended to be done, and I'm doing modifications. So if you're in a hurt hand boat like I am, then watch me. If you haven't already watched my intro to the series video on my channel page, I would suggest at some point you watch that, as I go into a lot more about the Enneagram than I do in these videos. Also, I discuss the way that I put the videos on my channel. This is our 60-minute practice this week. Next week, I will release the 25-minute practice, which is basically the same thing, just cut down to 25 minutes. The passion or sin of the Enneagram Type 8 is lust. And like I've said with most of the other Enneagram types, this word just doesn't quite mean what we think it means. Also, Type 8s can be kind of known for their anger. So today we're working with the liver meridian, which when that energy is unbalanced, we tend to experience a lot more anger. I also had a little bit of fun with the title, The Dragon, and so we do a bunch of the posture called the Dragon today. I also picked this because it's a little tough. These are no joke for your hips and your thighs today, and I think 8s are going to appreciate that, because I don't see them doing a lot of super chill yoga. So this is going to be you're going to feel this one in your body. Today, the only prop that I would suggest that you bring along are 2 blocks. And even if you don't have blocks, I don't really think that you're going to need them. I had to think about that there. You're probably fine without them. I would just suggest to have something to prop up a little bit in case you find that you'd like to do that today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy these videos, please like them so that I can look back and know which videos people prefer, and I can make a little bit more content based on that. If you haven't hit the little bell for notifications, please do that. That way you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. If you are already all set to go, please meet me back here in a comfortable seat, and let's jump right in.
Come to a kneeling seat. Bring the toes together and the knees wide. Sink your body back into a wide knee child's pose. If this is uncomfortable in your body today, sit up on something. We want to have the knees wide here to wake up the adductor muscles in the inner thighs for our practice today. The Enneagram is not static. You aren't just an 8 and that's it. Nuances to the Enneagram are wings, integration, and disintegration points, instinctual variance, and whether you are in a healthy, average, or unhealthy place. An average 8 finds self-sufficiency, financial independence, and having enough resources as important concerns. They are risk takers, hardworking, and tend to deny their own emotional needs. An average 8 dominates their environment up to and including others. An 8 at unhealthy levels can become hard-hearted, immoral, and potentially violent. Megalomania is present here. Some adjectives to describe healthy 8s, which are 8s at their best, include decisive, authoritative, self-assertive, self-confident, strong, and commanding. These folks are the natural leader others look up to. They may achieve true heroism and historical greatness. In Yin Yoga, we want to be especially mindful of how we come out of postures. So bring your knees in and your torso up, nice and slow. Come to all fours. Bring the right foot to the inside of the right wrist. Check that your knee is above the ankle, not forward or behind. Slide the left leg back until you feel a nice stretch. Let your top of your foot rest on the floor if that is comfortable for your knee. For this dragon variation, we're going to remain about here, up on our palms. If you would like a little extra space today, bring blocks under your hands. Add a little padding if you feel the back knee needs it. Anytime in Dragon you would like to build some heat, lift the back knee. But remember, this is Yin, and you want to be able to hold the posture for at least 3 minutes. The passion or sin of a Type 8 is lust. This is not sexual lust, but lust in the drive and desire for anything that makes them feel powerful. This can appear to be freeing for an 8, however, it tends to be more confining. This lust pushes an 8 to place themselves in situations they can assert themselves, or in unhealthy levels dominate over others. Lust moves an 8 from one thing to the next, in spite of the reality that we all need to stop and catch our breath. Bring the right foot across the midline and the right knee down to the ground by the right wrist. Shift your weight over to sit on the right hip, bringing the left leg around and resting on top of your leg. If you missed that transition, meet me in a seat with your right outer leg on the floor and your left leg stacked on top. Aim to stack the knees. If there is a lot of space between the knees, place a block or blanket between them. Play with how far or close your heels are to the hips. Stay upright or drape the torso over the legs. A block can help your head find rest here. In her book, The Enneagram, Helen Palmer writes, "The habitual preoccupations of the eights include control of personal possessions and space, and control of people who are likely to influence the eight's life, aggression and the open expression of anger, concern with justice and the protection of others, fighting and sex as a way of making contact, trusting people who can hold their own in a fight, excess as an antidote to boredom, late hours, heavy entertainment, binging, too much, too loud, too many. Difficulty in recognizing the dependent aspects of the self. When affected by others, can deny real feelings by withdrawal, but claiming boredom or by internally blaming the self for past misdeeds. An all or nothing style of attention which tends to see things in extremes. Other people appear to be either strong or weak, fair or unfair, with no middle ground. This style of attention can lead to not recognizing one's own weakness and the automatic denial of other points of view in favor of the single, legitimate opinion that is going to make the eight feel secure, or the exercise of appropriate force in the service of others. Be mindful about how you bring your torso up now. Let the legs go long. Place the palms on the ground behind you as kickstands and windshield wiper your feet a few times. Come to all fours. Bring the left foot to the inside of the left wrist. Check that the knee is over the ankle. Scoot the right knee back a bit until you feel a stretching sensation in your body. Take inventory of how this side feels. Maybe you are at the same depth as before. Maybe on this side, you lose or add the blocks. Each Enneagram type corresponds directly with 3 other types: your wing and your integration and disintegration points. Your wing is individual, but your integration and disintegration points are fixed. An 8 goes to a 2 in integration and a 5 in disintegration. This means that when a type 8 is at their best, they will take on the best of the type 2 attributes. When an 8 is unhealthy, they take on unhealthy 5 attributes. The disintegrated 8s tend to withdraw and become less connected to their emotions. They can't seem to see things clearly, so they retreat further to ruminate, plan, and hide this vulnerability. Insomnia may be present at this stage. This is also when the paranoia and distrust reaches unhealthy and dangerous levels. They may become secretive and, as Ian Cron puts it, hyper-vigilant of betrayal. Bring the left foot across the midline and the left knee down to the ground by the left wrist. Shift your weight over to sit on the left hip, bringing the right leg around and resting on top of your left leg. Take whatever adjustments your body needs to find stillness in this shape. In integration or security, an 8 goes toward a type 2, taking on healthy type 2 attributes. This is when a good portion of the calluses of an 8's spirit get removed and their big, sweet hearts shine out. They embrace this caring nature and aren't afraid of others seeing it. 8s and 2s tend to naturally adopt the parent role, but in security, the 8 allows their sweet side to have a voice, not just their tough, protective side. In this healthy space, 8s no longer insist that they are absolutely right, but are able to truly hear others' point of view and opinions. Gently bring your torso up. Let your legs go long. Place the palms on the ground behind you and windshield wiper your feet. Come to all fours. Bring the right foot to the inside of the right wrist. Again, check that your ankle is under your knee. Slide the left leg back a bit. Find a comfortable dragon, maybe a bit less intense than what you held before. For this variation, winged dragon, bring the right hand to the inside of the right ankle. Allow the right foot to scoot out towards the edge of the mat. Splay the right knee out to whatever extent you feel you can hold for a few minutes. Allow the foot to rest on the knife edge. This winged motion is great for lubricating the hip socket. Discover if you want to come up on blocks, stay on the palms, or come down to the forearms. It is widely frowned upon to try and type children. They are growing and changing and don't need extra voices in their heads telling them who they are. Thus, the discussion of types as children is meant as reflection for adults, not as typing for children. Ian Cron, author of The Road Back to You, says that each type has a wounding message from childhood. The Eight's message was, "The world is a hostile place where only the strong survive, and the weak or innocent get emotionally beaten up or betrayed. So put on your armor and never let them see your soft side." Something probably happened in their childhood to make them prematurely abandon their childlike innocence in order to take responsibility for their own lives and maybe even the lives of others. Eights may have been raised in homes where toughness was rewarded or their security felt unstable. Young Eights want to be allowed independence and often run ahead of the pack. Come up on the palms if you aren't there already. Slowly bring the right knee back in. On your left side, come up onto the ball mound of your foot. Pop your left knee up and come into a downward facing dog. Enjoy the feeling of energy your body is experiencing. come to a seat, legs long in front of you. Bend the right knee and place the edge of the foot on your upper thigh. On an inhale, bring your hands up above your head. Exhale, fold over the left leg. You may wish to sit on a block here or bend the knee a bit. The other point each type incorporates is their wing. You have only one wing, and it's generally agreed upon that your wing, like your type, never changes. For an 8, they are either an 8-wing 7 or 8-wing 9. Author of Millenniagram, Hannah Posh, says an 8-wing 7 is larger than life, strategically extra, moderators and instigators of both fun-having and necessary conflict. An 8-wing 7 seems to be constantly competing and one-upping themselves. Sometimes mistaken for a type 7, 8-wing 7s are big planners and dreamers. This wing type is likely to push an 8 to never back down. They are charismatic, powerful, vulnerable, and tender when healthy. An 8-wing 9 brings more "I am above this" energy to their power. The 9-wing shapes this 8 to be a bit more serious, brings an attention to detail, and that calm before the storm feeling. Bring the torso up. Plant the hands behind you, this time bending the knees, planting the feet on the floor. Lift the torso up into reverse table or altar pose. Bring the hips down. Come to all fours. We're coming into our last dragon today. Bring the left foot to the inside of the left wrist. Take a second to let your body sink into a comfortable posture here. Bring the left palm to the inside of the left ankle. Allow the left knee to fall out, rotating your foot as well. One thing I love about the Enneagram is that there is so much movement within your type. As I discussed earlier, there are your integration and disintegration points, your wing, but also your instinctual variant. Hannah Posh calls this our subtypes. This is the area we fixate on the most. There are 3 subtypes: self-preservation, sexual, and social. A self-preservation 8 looks like a survivor. They probably experienced a lack of something in their youth that made them take matters into their own hands. They are more reserved and focused and care more about the goal than appearances or being polite. A social 8 is more concerned with relationships. These 8s are really fixated on trust and honor. These are the 8s that will be quick to attack on the behalf of those they love. The last subtype is the sexual type. These 8s are expressive, loud, and rebellious. All sexual types take more of an interest in one-on-one relationships rather than many, like the social variants. Come to the palms. Gently bring the left knee back in. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee and come to a downward facing dog. Come to a seat, legs long in front of you. Bend the left knee and place the edge of the foot on your right upper thigh. On an inhale, bring your hands up above your head, scooting the hips back a little. Exhale, fold over the right leg. I like to address spirituality in these practices as I believe your Enneagram type heavily influences what and how you believe. Because of the many different forms of spirituality, I will be speaking quite broadly. Practices that may come easily to an 8 are fighting for a cause and feeling compassion for the underdog. 8s probably have a cause that they stand behind and work with. Part of the bigness of their hearts is given to the underdog or underserved, some part of humanity that they see lack in and feel compassion. This is a healthy place for 8s to participate in their spiritual journey. A practice of growth for an 8 could be participating in a smaller group of people to which they are accountable to and to which they can show weakness safely. This is a place for 8s to really share who they are and experience rich relationships. Bring the torso up. Plant the hands behind you, bending the knees, planting the feet on the floor. Lift the torso up into reverse table. Bring the hips down. Flip over, lying on your stomach. Wing your elbows off the mat, resting your forehead on the backs of your hands. Rock your heels back and forth to relax the legs and glutes. Bring the elbows in and under your shoulders for Sphinx pose. Let the hips relax here and the spine sway. To give your shoulders some space, move the elbows out an inch towards the top of your mat. Move your neck so there's no kinks. You may even choose to place a block, Papa Bear size, under your forehead. Loving people can be hard, especially when we don't come at things the same way. Learning the type of people around you can help you speak love to them in a way they will understand. It can help you have compassion and empathy when they do things that you just don't understand or agree with. In her video, 10 Ways to Love an Enneagram 8, Abby Howe emphasizes how it is an average 8, an unhealthy 8's nature, to be rather distrusting. Remember this and be absolutely true with your word. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you say something is important to you, prove it. 8s will see even seemingly small inconsistencies in your words as, at best, micro betrayals, but also probably collect these things as proof you are untrustworthy. It is hard for 8s to share their feelings, so when you get to a point in relationship that they will be conscious to never use their feelings against them. 8s value honesty and transparency. If an 8 asks you how they look, they really do want the truth. Being truthful reinforces to your 8 that you are trustworthy. Come down, elbows winged out, hands on the back of the palms again. Flip over onto your back. Stretch the right leg out long, bringing the left knee into the chest. Drag the left knee over to the right side for a twist. Scoot the hips over to allow the left knee plenty of space to reach towards the floor. No worries if the knee doesn't reach the floor. Maybe be extra kind to yourself today and place a prop under the knee so it can find rest. Let the right arm rest on the left thigh and the left arm drape on the ground behind you. Your head can be turned to the left for an extra stretch in the neck, to the ceiling, or for a more restorative movement toward the right. Christina S. Wilcox wrote an entire book about self-care for each Enneagram type called Take Care of Your Type. One of the suggestions I loved is to not be afraid of counseling. She says during the research of writing the book, she uncovered that every single 8 was or had been in counseling. Even if you don't feel like you've been through enough trauma to merit counseling, it's okay to admit that there are still things you need to process and heal. Another act of self-care for Enneagram 8s is to ensure you are exercising regularly. 8s have a lot of energy and it's gotta go somewhere. Lastly, take some time to be unproductive and quiet. 8s find energy in going. But there is also a shadow side to this that is equally important, and that is the practice of introspection, of stillness, of being instead of doing. Take just 30 minutes before your day starts or before bed to just sit in quiet, maybe with tea or candles, and hear your own voice addressing just you. Bring the left leg back to the center. Squeeze both knees to the chest. Let the left leg go long, right knee to chest. Shift the hips, the right knee falling to the left side of your body. Feel inward for this side. Maybe the other side didn't need a prop, but this side does. Maybe this side can go a bit deeper than the left. Approach this posture as if it were new and take the appropriate modifications if necessary. I like to end these Yinneagram practices with some practical tips to take off the mat. 8s. I hope this doesn't come as a shock, but sometimes you can go overboard. Those around you are unlikely to address this. Give a trusted loved one permission to tell you when this is happening, and then be gracious with them and yourself. Remember that you may not be the sole owner of the truth. When speaking with someone, try to remember that it is possible you are wrong. Also, that the other person's opinion is just as valid as yours. Be mindful when you slip into black and white thinking. There are gray areas in our world, especially when dealing with other humans. Finally, and this is so important, recognize that sharing feelings is a strength and requires bravery. This is true for others. It is not a weakness to show emotions, and this is true for yourself. This type of bravery may not come naturally, but it can be learned with practice and patience. Look for opportunities to show courage to the ones you love by being honest about your feelings. Bring the right leg back to the center and squeeze both knees to your chest. Let both legs go long. Position the heels about hips width distance apart. Rock your hips from side to side gently. Roll your shoulders up toward your ears to the back and slide them down your back. Let the tongue drop from the roof of the mouth. Soften your eyes and your forehead. Let your muscles relax from the bone. Here are a few phrases or mantras to commit to your heart. It may be helpful to write them in your notes, on a mirror, or post-its to stick in visible places. I have listed them in the description below. I do not have to be strong to be loved. I will not be betrayed. It is okay to be vulnerable. Fear has no hold on me. I encourage and praise others. Bring your focus back to your body. Wiggle just the toes. Roll the ankles. Wiggle your fingers. Roll your wrists. Roll over onto your side. Keeping your eyes closed, come up to a seat. Thank you for joining me for this Yinneagram journey. If you are not an 8, I hope this practice has helped you understand the 8s in your life a bit better. Flutter open the eyelids. 8s, I know you have gotten really good at protecting yourself. So good, you probably don't often realize that's what you're doing. There is a little you somewhere left to fend for themselves, waiting to be recognized. I hope someday you can reconnect. Thank you for teaching us how to be bold and brave. We really need those lessons sometimes. Bring your hands to prayer at the forehead. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Namaste.